First of all, find a nice girl and settle down. Wouldn't hurt if she were Jewish. Second, find a job that is meaningful and fulfilling. It wouldn't hurt if you were comfortable. And third, have children. Wouldn't hurt if it were soon. Now, you probably all heard these 3 pieces of advice from your mom. If you didn't, then she probably isn't really your mother, and you should check. The question is, was my mom right or was she wrong about these 3 things? The answer is yes. She was right and she was wrong. And we now know what things she was right and what things she was wrong about. So let me just go through these 3. How about marriage? How many people here think marriage causes happiness? Ma'am, you're not allowed to raise your husband's hand. That isn't fair. Okay, so the minority of you think marriage causes happiness. Many of you think marriage is a sign of happiness. If you're happy and you're in love, then you get married, but marriage doesn't actually make you happy. Well, let's examine the facts. The first brute fact is that married people are happier than unmarried people. Unmarried people are divorced, they're widowed, but they're also single. They're even people who are cohabiting and living together. And if you look closely at the differences between married and unmarried people, you'd understand why. Married people live longer. Married people are healthier. Married people make more money per capita. Married people have more sex and report enjoying it more. Virtually everything you could imagine might make a person happy, married people seem to have more of. Now, it could be that you see data like these because marriage makes people happy. The other possibility is happy people get married. Both hypotheses turn out to be true. It is true that happy people do better on the marriage market. Who wants to marry Eeyore when you can marry Piglet, right? You want somebody who smiles when they wake up in the morning. But it also looks like marriage causes happiness. So here's a typical pattern of findings. If you look at people's happiness before and after the wedding, you see that as people approach the wedding day, they're getting happier and happier. Right after the wedding, there's a honeymoon period in which their happiness keeps rising, and then happiness starts to fall. But notice that at least 6 years out, it hasn't come back to its initial baseline. Does it ever? Yes. There's some argument. Different data sets show different numbers for when. 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, 12 years. Okay, let's not quibble about numbers. It looks like marriage buys you some reasonable amount of time of increased happiness. Now, since marriage seems to buy you some increase in happiness, you would expect divorce to make you unhappy, and you would be quite wrong about that. Because for both men and women, divorce is also a source of happiness. Now, you might say, how do I put these 2 facts together? Does this suggest I should just keep getting married and then divorced and then married and getting divorced and accrue happiness with each new transition? No, no. What these 2 facts suggest is that marriage makes people happy, but happy marriage makes people really happy. That is, when marriages are bad, we get relief from getting out of them. But when they are good, we seem to get an extra benefit from staying in them.